What's going on YouTube? It's JSauce back again with another video, and today, finally, is the SPS movie, something that I've been wanting to make forever. I know it's been about 3 months since SPS actually ended, but I'm just now getting the time. I've been working all summer. I've been working 2 jobs as well as trying to have social time with the few hours of free time I have, as well as being in way too many leagues. But it's finally here. This is my first championship in SPS Movie, Tropius K's edition, Zapdos Division. Let's go. The prologue, my SPS history. This is a little lore, because I've been SPS since the day it was created, with a few core members, and I've been here since Season 1, so let's get into it. I was the Full Metal Alchemist, and this is the logo I used before the 7 Deadly Citrus, and probably used it for about 3 years. It is what people recognize me as. However, the Full Metal Alchemist had 5 seasons played, 44 games, 17 wins, and 27 losses for an astounding 39% win rate. Sub 40 win rate is not good. I was playing pretty atrociously, not gonna lie. And my drafts, well, they weren't much better. Season 1, Articuno Division. I was 11 seed out of the 12 teams at 2-9 record with a horrible minus 25 differential. The draft, I believe it was tiers at this time, was just not that good. Definitely not my playstyle now. I don't like a lot of the Pokemon on the screen. However, after being ass in Season 1, I got demoted in Season 2 I got demoted to Zapdos, and I finished as the 3 seed. However, I took an L in the quarterfinals, which was the first round. A lot more me as a team. You see, some pretty offensive mons like Zardex, you got the Double Waters, Latios, and some Pokemon that I'm iffy on, like Skarmory and Muckalola, but big improvement draft-wise and results-wise. Fortunately, I did lose in the first round. Season 3, back into Articuno, I thought I had one of my better drafts. This was originally... I don't know if I have the slideshow still. It was originally like Urshifu Rapid and a couple other better Pokemon. Is very top-loaded, top-heavy. Figured out that wasn't for me at that time, and I definitely was not Articuno material. Once again, I went 2-7 with minus 21. And Season 4, Season 5, I quote-unquote retired. I took a big break from Bonds. Unfortunately, missed most of those seasons. But my return in Season 6 with a pretty good team, I think it just looks like a me team as well. Other than the lack of pivoting, I finished as the 11th seed, went 3-5, which was pretty disappointing for me, albeit it was my return back to Pokemon. Yeah, the team was too good to have 3 wins. In Season 7, last season, the first season since the owner Ballhawk stepped down, I finished 7th seed with a 5-4 record. However, I did again lose in the quarterfinals round. This team is much more me. I loved using this team actually, except for I was not good with Throwing Moon or Iron Moth, so those were a bit of letdowns. But Scizor, Glow King, Rotom-Wash, Ursaluna, Sylveon, loved it. It was my first Paldea Dex league, actually my first Gen 9 league in general. So I was pretty proud of, putting up a playoff performance with all of these new Pokemon. And that leads us to the Season 8 SPS Zapdos Division Draft. Very exciting time. I've been looking forward to this for about a year. That's about the gap in between the seasons. With the 10th pick in the SPS Season 8 Zapdos Draft, the Tropius K select Meowscarada, a Grass Dark type worth 17 points. Boasting a speed stat of 123 and an attack stat of 110, Meowscarada is an elite offensive Pokemon with 2 great stabs and Flower Trick and Knockoff, as well as some phenomenal coverage with Triple Axle. It gets fighting type moves like Low Kick and Brick Break. Hell, it even gets like Acrobatics, gets U-Turn, it gets Power Gem off of like 80 base special attack, means it can run viable special sets. It gets 2 of the most broken moves in the game, Knockoff and U-Turn, and is one of the best abusers of both of them. Um, Grass Dark types always are kind of shaky in draft, but Meowscarada can one-up those because it's not a Grass and a Dark type most of the time. Additionally, it's a great hazard setter with Toxic Spikes and Spikes, if I'm not mistaken, or at least just Spikes, guaranteeing hazard control, and this level of speed is something very important to me in the way I draft, because I usually don't get amazing speed, or I'm always stuck looking for it in the layer tiers. I've not really been getting hazard control, so securing those things round 1 is phenomenal for me. It can even run support sets with Taunt and Switcheroo, 2 very underrated moves. In addition, this gets stuff like Hone Claws and Agility, which are pretty niche, as this doesn't really want to be a setup Pokemon. The main thing that makes this really good is its signature move, Flower Trick. I believe it's a 70 base power Grass type move that always results in critical hit. I kind of like to think of Meowscarada as a Gen 8 Greninja-esque Pokemon because Battle Bond was banned. It just clicks Knockoff, and it's really good at it. Next, with the 15th pick in the SPS Season 8 Zapdos Draft, the Tropius case select Annihilate, a 16-point Ghost and Fighting type. Next up, we have Annihilate. Yeah, this thing is broken. It's Ghost Fighting type, already amazing stab combo. It's got Rage Fist, a genuinely broken move, 50 base power gained after each hit. It gets Drain Punch, it gets Taunt, it gets Bulk Up, the Elemental Punches. It also has great coverage. I love the versatility of what it can do. I've ran it Scarf, I've ran it Resist Berry, Citrus Berry, AV, Banded, like, and multiple different items, and all of them put in work. This Pokemon can genuinely put in work every week and beat mons that you wouldn't consider it really beating. Like, an AV Annihilate can take an Amorous Moonblast and Oko back, etc., etc. And a cool little feature between Meowscarada and Annihilate is Meowscarada is 4 times weak to U-Turn, but Annihilate is the best U-Turn punisher in the game. Additionally, Meowscarada loves setting up, well, it doesn't love setting up spikes, but it's very capable of doing it, and Annihilate is one of the better hazard control blockers, aka Spin and Defog, in the game, probably second to Golden Go. So I'm very excited to pair this with Meowscarada. It's got a little bit better speed stat, but I'm very excited to use this. With the 34th pick in the SPS Season 8 Zapdos Draft, the Tropius case select Primarina, an 11-point Water and Fairy type. Next, we have Primarina, which, you know, I'm a very big Primarina guy. I love what it can do, especially with Flip Turn. No Scald is sad for it, but it gets Psychic Noise now, meaning that with Flip Turn Psychic Noise, AV sets are better than ever before. AV is my favorite item in the game. I needed bulky water, as well as a good fairy type, and I get bored easily by both of those, so being able to have Bark type and a fairy type that I enjoy is great. In addition, Primarina is pretty versatile, as it can be a wall 1 week and a wall breaker the next. I'm very excited to use it. Not a Pokemon I've really used before, but I've been a big fan of it. With the 39th pick in the SPS Season 8 Zapdos Draft, your Tropius case select Terra Iron Crown, a 12-point Steel and Psychic type. Next up, we have Iron Crown. Now, I saw the board. This is the first Pokemon I wanted to draft. I love using it. It's extremely versatile. Attacking Cutter is one of the best attacking moves in the game. It gets Psychic, Psyshock, Psychic Noise, it gets Volt Switch. Great Terra Blast user. Of course, this is my Terra Captain. I've just had so much fun using this Pokemon, and it's the one that I was interested in playing with again. You can really shape this to be whatever you want from an offensive Pokemon. It can be defensive, but it's not ideal. Booster Energy, one of the best items from Gen 9, is extremely viable on it. It's a great setup option. It's a great Pokemon to slap a choice item on. It's arguably the best weakness policy user in the game. It's another great AV user with an surprisingly okay speed stat. 98 is like whatever, but you slap that with a booster, you slap that with agility, it starts to get very good. It also outspeeds the Urshifus by 1 point, which is phenomenal. It can take out Rabombi in 1 turn, allowing it to set webs and die. It's just a very, very good versatile Pokemon, and I'm trying to make it MVP. With the 68th pick in the SPS Season 8 Zapdos Draft, the Tropius K select Terra Raging Bolt, 16-point Electric Dragon type. So now we got Raging Bolt, my second Terra Captain. This is a Pokemon I wanted to bring back because it had the best single season performance that I've ever seen from a Pokemon, and one that I've ever used. In 7 games with Terra, of course, it got 21 kills and 3 deaths. This thing is a menace. I want to bring it back with Terra. Now, I didn't want to use it as like a Calm Mind bot as I did in the other league. I thought that was pretty boring, but with Iron Crown being able to run setup to be able to bring choice items, I thought Raging Bolt would be a phenomenal fat pivot, as it can AV, it can leftovers, it can be set up if it wants. It's a great choice specs user. Now the coverage is a little bit lacking, but Electric and Dragon should be about all you need. Of course, it gets Thunderclap, which should need no introduction. It's an Electric type Sucker Punch, which with Raging Bolt's 75 base speed is actually very good. Now, 75 speed is also enough to where you can run a little bit of speed and outspeed some very, very good walls while still having a bunch of bulk. Speaking of bulk, this thing is bulky as all hell, physically and specially. Like, wow, this thing is just bulky. Terra Electric Magnet is actually viable because it gets 3 very good electric attacks. Terra is also beneficial because you can run Terra Blast on this, Terra Blast Water, Ice, hit the ground types. Terra Blast Fairies, also extremely good to counter the Dragon types and hit them back. If I want to run Manual Sun 1 week, then this thing will also go crazy. Or if I face a Sun team. I'm looking extremely forward to using Raging Bolt again, and I think a lot of people in my small community associate this Pokemon with me, so I'm really excited to use it again. Raging Bolt, additionally, is a fantastic trader, which is not really something that you love to see out of a expensive Pokemon like Raging Bolt, but it should at the very least get like 1 kill a game. Thunderclap forces so much prep. It's just a giant prep threat, to be honest. If nothing else, even if I leave it on the bench, the opponent's probably going to bring a couple monsters to try and stop it, which is valuable. With the 73rd pick in the SPS Season 8 Zapdos Division Draft, the Tropius K select Ursaluna Blood Moon, 15-point Normal and Ground type. And next up is Ursaluna Blood Moon, which is a little bit of a weird Pokemon for me. I personally like it, but it feels a little tradey sometimes, which, like I talked about with Raging Bolt, isn't great from a Pokemon this expensive, but if you have no switch-ins to an Ursaluna Blood Moon, you kind of just automatically lose with its bulk, with plus recovery with Moonlight, to its Calm Mind sets with Vacuum Wave for Blood Moon, even like Silk Scarf for Throat Spray, Blood Moon, Hyper Voice go insane if you have no Ghost type. And guess what? If you are a ghost type, Ursaluna gets Mind's Eye, which, if you don't know, is like Scrappy. So yeah, catch this blood moon. This Pokemon has been terrorizing VGC for a long time, and obviously thrives under Trick Room, which, I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I'm going to draft a Trick Room Pokemon, but I'm expecting this to do huge damage. It's a great Resist Barrier user, good Assault Vest user. Like, this Pokemon is extremely annoying. It forces prep as well with, like, Berry or Air Balloon or Shuka or something. It's just one of those Pokemon where if you have no answers or no checks, you're probably going to lose. With the 92nd pick in the SPS Season 8 Zapdos Draft, your Tropius case select Glimmora, a rock poison type, which is 13 points. For our next commander, we got Glimmora. I wanted some good hazard stacking if I'm running Skeledirge, as well as Hazard's just really good with Iron Crown, Raging Bolt, and Ursaluna, and even Meow. So Glimmora fit perfectly, as well as I didn't really have a remover, and Glimmora at least gets Mortal Spin, which is basically Rapid Spin but doesn't work on Steel types. So, like, it was pretty good. Glimmora is also less one-dimensional than you would think. Corrosion is a fantastic ability, and it gets Toxic, Spiky Shield to stall it out. Additionally, it gets some good attacking moves for some reason. It gets some good coverage. It gets Sludge Wave, Earth Power, Dazzling Gleam, Energy Ball. It gets Meteor Beam at this point, which with Rock Polish can actually lead it to be an interesting cleaner. It's also extremely bulky, and it hits extremely hard, especially with investment. 85 speed stat allows me to scarf it pretty comfortably sometimes, as well as outspeed all of the big walls. Yeah, mainly this thing is just going to be setting hazards for us. You know, got spikes, rocks, toxic spikes, or toxic debris, which on a physical move is just sets up toxic spikes, which is huge, especially if my opponent does not have a grounded poison. Glimmora is just one of those Pokemon where you can't really underrate it. And if you don't bring heavy duty boots, then something else on the team is gonna win. That's what I love about it. With the 97th pick in the SPS Season 8 Zapdos Draft, your Tropius case select Talonflame, a 10-point fire and flying type. I want some more speed. I also want another remover, and just another utility mon. So I look no further than Talonflame, which honestly pairs pretty well with Glimmora, considering that Glimmora is 4 times weak to ground moves, and Talonflame eats them up. Talonflame is not the powerhouse it used to be in Gen 6. Gale Wings is not as powerful. Neither are Choice Band sets, but they can still work, right? So can Choice Specs. Talonflame's main appeal is going to come as fast utility mon. It gets Defog, it gets Roost, it gets U-Turn, it gets Will-O-Wisp. So it's pretty good at what it does, just being a fast pivot, and that's all I'm really expecting it to do. It was cheap. It's something that I'm probably going to bring a lot. Unfortunately, it is kind of held down to running heavy-duty boots at this point in draft, especially in Paldea decks where removers are so thin, so few and far between. But it's going to do what I ask it to do. It's not going to be a flashy pick, it's not going to be a flashy brand, but it's going to be a very dependable one, and that's something I needed at this point. With the 116th pick of the Season 8 Zapdos Draft, your Tropius case select Cryogonal, a 3-point ice type. Cryogonal is a weird Pokemon for me. Again, I want to get a Rapid Spinner. I also want to kind of weather the ground type weakness I was starting to build, even with Talonflame. I also want an ice type because, as weird as it sounds, ice types are very good offensively. It gave me an option to run Aurora Veil versus the Slowking teams, which was something that came to mind because Baxcalibur, Kyurem, Black are all extremely good Pokemon and pair so well with the Slowkings, I should say. So I wanted an option for that. Now, is Cryogonal ever going to come? I don't know. It's 3 points. It's an ice type.
It can't tear up. It doesn't do a lot, but it has its niches, so I could definitely see it coming. Even if I think it might be a liability most weeks, at this point, I've got 5 points left. I kind of just want to draft something that could be brought, like 1 or 2 games, and do its job, and Cryogonal was exactly that for me.
With the 121st pick of the Season 8 Zapdos draft, your Tropling case select Sneasel Hisui, a 1-point poison and fighting type.
However, there is a 1-pointer that I thought was the best 1-pointer I've ever seen in my life, and that's Hisui and Sneasel. This thing is 95 base attack, if I'm not mistaken, 110 or 115 speed, boasting some pretty good stabs with Gunk Shot in close combat. Now, unfortunately, unlike Sneasler, it does not get Dire Claw, it does not get U-Turn, but it still gets Night Slash, it still gets Shadow Claw, it still gets Fling, so I could do some pretty fun things with Sword Stance sets. It is a good Choice Band holder. It's even fine with Eviolite. Now, I don't think it gets Toxic Spikes, but I really stuff that I could see myself bringing,
value the secondary
1 to 3
toxic
weeks Spike Absorber,
Pokemon
even if I had
that
the best Toxic
might
Spike
not be
in
the best,
game,
but I would have fun using because they are
really,
shitters, and
really
I love
valued that.
shitters.
At this point,
with the 126th and penultimate pick in the SPS Zapdos draft, your Tropling case select Tropius, a 1-point grass and flying type.
finally, I had to do it to him. I had to bring out the mascot pick, Big Trope. George Tropas in the house. No Terra, unfortunately, but you already know what Tropius does, right? If you've ever played Ranbats, you know what it does. It'll run Leech Seed, Protect, Substitute, Air Slash, and it will stall your whole life out. But if I didn't want to do that, I could run Calm Mind or Curse with its recovery. Like, it's got Synthesis, it's got some okay stats and coverage. I mean, it's not like the greatest ever, but it'll do. This is a Pokemon I definitely want to bring to one game. I want to trope some ass. Right, I want to make somebody Tropius bitch. And even if Trope doesn't do much, if I can make a Pokemon uncomfortable, or if I can make somebody annoyed
And
just by Tropius, then I win that.
If you missed it, or if
It's the first season of the Tropius case. I had to bring the mascot, and hopefully he's our good luck charm to the ring.
A very neat team. I think it's going to be a very, very fun team and a very, very cohesive team. It's going to be versatile as well. Over prep for one thing, you can lose to another. I'm very excited to use it. Week 1, your Tropling K's are facing the Hourcon team and Coach Christian IAC. Now, Christian didn't originally draft his team. He came in as a replacement halfway through the draft, and so I didn't really know what to expect. He seemed to draft into the team he was given pretty well. Finished up his last couple picks. Now, I'm not going to be showing every single matchup because I could talk about it forever. I'm going to show you the pace and the game plan, and then we're going to watch the battle. So, here's the pace. I'm not going to go over everything, just the highlights. So, this is a pretty defensive team. You had stuff like Terra Skeledirge, Glow King, Garganackle, Gliscor. But this team also had Shentail with threats like Azu and Urshifu. I really, really wanted Iron Crown to have an MVP campaign, so I built this team around it and allowing it to sweep with agility, Calm Mind, Stored Power. But yeah, Covert Cloak is there, so Iron Crown can abuse Garganical to step and win. If it Salt Cures while I Calm Mind, and then switches out while agility, all of a sudden, my Stored Power is 100 base power, if I'm not mistaken. And Tacking Cutter, again, one of the best moves in the game. Additionally, we have Choppleberry Ursaluna with some defense investment to be able to live under Shifu close combat. I believe it's an adamant close combat on like Choice Scarf, but with Choppleberry it does 50%, and I can kill it back with a Blood Moon. The reason we wanted the Choppleberry is because we could just Moonlight the 50% off, and we pray Shentail doesn't get out of hands. This Talonflame has Roost and Air Slash, this Talonflame has U-Turn and Air Slash. The game plan is that with the speed on this Talonflame, it underspeeds Cyclozar, but outspeeds Urshifu. So, if Cyclozar Shentails out into like Azu or something, well, Air Slash still always breaks that sub. So, it shouldn't get too out of hand. Defog also helps with Klefki screens and spikes, which could be super good with Shentail. Also, we have Scarf Meowscarada, outspeed Scarf Urshifu, or like an SD set, SD Trailblaze. And then finally, this speedy Raging Bolt always checks, always beats Azumarill, even if it's Belly Drum, which is pretty important. But let's see how his team fares in battle. Alright, here it is, Week 1 of the SPS Season 8 Zapdos Division against Christian, and I know personally, I absolutely hate Week 1 matchups, especially if it's against people I don't know, because it's just terrifying. I don't know how good they are, what they like to play. I have no resources telling me anything about them. All I can do is build and hope. And that's kind of what we did this week. Now, the good news about this, the team that we're seeing is no Azumarill, so even though Cyclozar's there, he doesn't really have anything great to Shentail into. He also has like 0 Blood Moon answers. So I'm hoping a game plan pays off, because there's no real way of stopping Iron Crown either. Yeah. I'm not going to pause, do anything. I'm going to try to run through these quick. So lead Cyclozar like I was expecting. I just lead Blood Moon. And believe I just click Earth Power turn 1, because he has got no resists. As he goes to the Klefki, which is weird to me. Understandable if he's expecting like a Blood Moon. I make the play here in case he wants to screens, spikes or anything. I defog, but he reveals Magnet Rise. But I just do turn out, because you shouldn't stay in there. And Primarina looked pretty free. I could just click whatever button I want. I believe this is a flip turn. I'm going to put him in the blender. He doesn't have very much momentum. I got all the momentum in the world. The Meowscarada comes out. I believe this is just a knockoff here. Trying to get rid of somebody's items, and I do. Does 47. I click knockoff again, just so he can't Shentail out, as he knocks off my Choice Scarf, which, it's fine, especially if Urshifu is not Scarfed. I just U-turn out, guarantees the kill, or I switch out. Primarina comes back in. This is a little weird for me. I can't really explain why I went Primarina. I guess just for good chip, as I get 21 on Slowking, and just flip turn it back out. This would be very good for him if he clicks Chili, as he does. But then again, he doesn't really have anything to stop this. He goes Klefki, I call his bluff, and I just click Earth Power here. But he does Magnet Rise. I was really hoping he'd like double or click a different move, but Primarina's back in. As he clicks Calm Mind, which is actually very scary to me, because my only breaker is Meowscarada and it resists both of my stabs. But I flip turn out into Iron Crown. I don't really know what I'm cooking, but he just hard switches out to Skeledirge as I Calm Mind. Basically don't want Klefki winning. Now, I go into my Ursaluna Blood Moon because it's my best, quote-unquote, it's one of my best, quote-unquote, checks. This is Terra Fairy, which is why I don't want to go for Marina. Yeah, Blood Moon Shamones his whole life, and the speed creep matters because I'm able to outspeed this. Goes Garg. So, I mean, Earth Power is always the play there. Because it covers both. It kills Skeledirge and covers switching. So Garg is now down. Goes into Cyclozar here. I switch out Talonflame. Just knocks off. I get the Flame Body, which is honestly huge, but Boots doesn't matter at this point, so I was fine with that. And it's just, yeah, U-turn spam forever. I'm putting this guy in the blender. This is a perfect Moonlight opportunity. Just get back a bunch of health. As he chilies, goes into that Urshifu, man. The bait is working. He Swords Dances, expect me to switch out. But what's that? Oh shit. Blood Moon ends his bloodline. I mean, things are looking phenomenal for me, to say the least. I go to Klefki on a Magnet Rise or Calm Minds, and yeah. Goes into Cyclozar on a Calm Mind. Can't really do much. If he wants to knock off whatever, my Covert Cloak doesn't do shit here. As he just Shed Tails out, which is fine. Shed Tails into Glow King. Respectable. I just get another Calm Mind. Attacking Cutter here to break this up and get another hit. It's 29. And yeah, just a Future Sight. He's just got to pray for a crit here. I just stored power. Sludge Bomb. No poison. Oh yeah, because I'm Covert Cloak still. He didn't knock. Yeah, I get the agility. At this point, I don't think it's winnable. Or I don't think it's winnable for him. Because I stored power here. And Klefki just gets Tacking Cuttered. If he wants to try to do that to me, it's fine. You know, even if he's Citrus Berry, he still dies, which he is not. So I was Tachyon. And then Slowking and Skeledirge both die. This is an Iron Crown Legacy game. You know, it's Iron Crown's MVP season. That's what we're trying to get. We're trying to make this guy look like 2012 LeBron, like prime Michael Jordan, all of that. And started off strong, 4 kills for it. I think it'd be a really good season for Iron Crown. The team impressed me as a whole. And it did exactly what I wanted to whenever I drafted. You know, put stuff in the blender and let my win cons win. And it did it pretty perfectly. So, with that being said, on our first week, let's hop over to week 2. Week 2, we're facing the Rock and Roller Rage and Coach Jaybird. Now, Jaybird is pretty new to singles, if I'm not mistaken. He's mainly a VGC player, which could be reflected in his team. We both took home massive wins last week, statement wins. But with his double weather squad, it's going to be tough to build and play against it. But we got a game plan. We've got triple AV to wall the weather boosters. You know, we got AV Iron Crown, Pre-Marina, and Annihilate, which should always just at least tank a few hits, at least get it to what it needs to be. Then we have Double Scarf to outrun Booster Energy, specifically Walking Wake, because that is a huge threat. So we got Scarf Sneasler, which hopefully can just Shimon everything. It's got Switcheroo for Toxapex. And then we have Choice Scarf Meowscarada, which can, you know, change into a Fairy type or an Ice type and get the stab off those moves. It's also super good because it outspeeds Tornadus always and can triple Axle kill. But the end game is just to have Raging Bolt win once everything's chipped and I can U-turn or Volt Switch with like Iron Crown, Pre-Marina, Annihilate, get Raging Bolt in on something to where I have a free Calm Mind. We have Citrus Berry to maintain our health and overall just noob something, whereas we might not be able to before. I really hate the matchup, but I like this team. I think it counters about everything he can use, every set that you might want to use. I think he was on like Manual Sun Tornadus last week or something, but I think Triple AV will be nice to help versus weather abusers. I forgot to mention there is also a Lilligant Hisui, which yes, if it's Chlorophyll, can outspeed my Scarfers, but if it's like Victory Dance, like it's +1, albeit it'll get a +1 defense boost as well, but my Scarfers should be able to handle it. Let's see if we can keep the win streak alive.
Okay, we got week 2 versus Jaybird. I'm very excited to see no sun abusers. Like, I know it sounds weird considering that there's a Lilligant, but like Walking Wake isn't here, which is probably the Pokemon I was most scared of. As you see, I went through a little bit of an avatar change. I'm now Lieutenant Surge. You'll see a few avatar changes throughout the season. There's one I ultimately stick to. Other than that, we're bringing 2 Pokemon off the bench. We're bringing Sneasler's little bro, as well as Annihilate, and I think both can play a pretty fantastic role in this game. This is the Double Scarf Triple AV game, if I'm not mistaken. And then, yeah, the goal is just to end up letting Raging Bolt Goob, which with Terra Fairy looks fantastic here. Let's just go ahead and get into the game. Alright, so this is just Elite Meowscarada with me. I can see it's torn. Jolteon ends up coming out. I don't want to reveal Scarf right away, so I go into Annihilate. As he clicks Shadow Ball, little bit of a weird play, but I get it. Reveal Specs based off the calc. So I just go Hard Meowscarada again. As he goes Torn, and yeah, I just Hard Knock Off. That does 52, also gets rid of Leftovers, which is very nice. Again, don't want to reveal Scarf, so Raging Bolt comes on out. It's a Tailwinds team. Uh-oh. Yeah, Volcarona's out. I just hit Dragon Pulse in case the Trio came out. Again, mean, nasty crit. Yeah, I Dragon Pulse there. Didn't need to. That should have been a T-Bolt. I just Terra Fairy as he clicks Play Rough. And I Thunderbolt, Break Through the Skies. And, you know, Raging Bolt's still at 77. Things are looking good for me. Tailwind's gone. Goes Doug Trio. Yeah, I just have a quote-unquote free Calm Mind. See Stealth Rocks on me, which is a little weird. I break it down to its Sash. Honestly, yeah, I'd probably just kill this here. That should be the play. Yeah, just Dragon Pulse, and Raging Bolt is +1/+1 at 70%, which is looking very nice. Sludge Bomb is only doing 30. I don't get poisoned, luckily, and now Raging Bolt has put us in a fantastic position. This is the reason it's my favorite Gen 9 Pokemon. Yeah. I mean, Thunderbolt does 82. He gets a good read there on Thunderclap because if I was a Thunderclap, then I just kill it. But I just Thunderbolt, and if I lost that 50-50, that's whatever. Then Volcarona comes on out. I don't Thunderclap there. I Thunderbolt, which honestly is a good read because I don't want this thing quivering on me. Annihilate comes in because I know I can kill it with, I believe I have a rock move. Yeah, Stone Edge ends up killing. Now, unfortunately, I believe I am in range of Jolteon, but he clicks Volt Switch instead of Thunderbolt. So Lilligant's gotta take this Rage Fist. Never mind, I U-turned out. Rage Fist would have been choice there, though. So I go into Iron Crown because he can't really stop me. I Tacking Cutter. I believe this was his Terra Pokemon. If I'm not mistaken, it was like Terra Rock. I had no real reason to Tacking Cutter over Psychic, but I did, so that's cool. Hey, yeah, Thunderbolt's doing 47. Ice Future Sight. See what he wants to lock himself into. Stack Annihilate. And then I just go Scarf Meowscarada afterwards. And it ends up getting a... Not only was it a game-winning crit, but it stole a kill from Iron Crown, which was a little bit sad to see because... yeah, Iron Crown would have had 2 kills here, but now it's only got 1, but it's fine because we ended up winning. So I think that trumps everything else. We're looking very good. We're 2-0 plus 10 is no record to sneeze at. And I'm very proud of how we're playing. I believe we're playing pretty elite mods. 2 weeks into season, I'm excited to see if we can carry that over. Let's see if we can keep up the winning streak.
Alright, we won that game pretty handedly again. We're 2-0 plus 10. This week we're facing the What You Doing Step Slow Bros, coached by McNutt. Now, there is lore to this game. Not necessarily with McNutt, but the guy that was originally commandering this team joined me for 10 straight days, um, give or take. I set about 15 pings, which I know sounds aggressive, but like, come on, man, you're not gonna ghost me for a week and a half and get away with it. So I could have taken the forfeit win. I was granted the forfeit win, but you know me. You know I'm a content monkey. So I just asked to play the replacement instead. So yeah, now we're facing McNutt, who does have an 0-2 record with not great differential, but that's not his fault. The team's pretty scary. It's Slowking backs with Valiant, so it's gonna be tricky. However, if there was ever an Iron Crown game, this is it. It outspeeds +1 backs, outspeeds like Specs Valiant, and it just tacking cutters the world away. And if Slowking does come, that's Volt Switch. Like, that's the whole game plan, is just abuse Iron Crown and Raging Bolt together, and nothing is really going to take it well. Yeah, I'm just, as you can see in the second bullet point, I'm just going to infinity pivot between Meowscarada, Iron Crown, Raging Bolt, Talonflame. I'm just going to keep clicking pivots until something just wins. And I have to be careful because Val and Max are two of the better cleaners in the game, and I have to find a way to somehow stop that. And that's partially why I have Choice Specs, Thunderclap, Raging Bolt, even though it sounds like a throw, and it probably is. I have to have something. It's also why I have Choice Scarf Meowscarada once again for the third week in a row, because it outspeeds the Valiant. Overall, I like the matchup a lot more than the other 2 weeks, but the team is filled with threats, so there's a chance that stuff can go awry. There's no guarantees. Running 4 choice Pokemon is scary, and it's something that you have to play pretty much exactly right to get the best out of, so I'm hoping I'm able to do that. But in mocks, things went very, very well. Nothing was able to stop Iron Crown and Raging Bolt, so I'm hoping the game goes the same way. With that being said, let's hop into the battle.
Alright, so coming off of 2 huge wins, we're looking very, very good here, and we got 3 avatars in 3 weeks. We switched over to Cybold here, my boy, one of my favorite Elite Four members throughout the generations. We're bringing Lamora off the bench as well. Sneasler's little Rose coming again. This is a weird little team we brought. Now, I'm sure I said it in the preview to this, but Nut is a replacement coach, because I sent out a bunch of peaks, didn't get any responses. But I want to play somebody for content, and here it is. This is our content game. This is a content game that I know you guys wanted. Yeah, Iron Crown should go crazy here. I see a Mew. I believe this is a Terra Mew. Nice lead with Meow because it's so good. I end up just U-turning because, yeah, Teak wanted to come in. It reveals Rocky Helmet, which is fine. But I get Specs, what's it called? Specs Talonflame here, as he gets up rocks. Now I'm sure he calcs that I'm Specs from this. Back Excalibur takes 48, but gets his Thermal Exchange. As I say, fuck it, let's go for the roll, and lose off on the roll by 1%. But Talonflame gets no kills, but it might as well have 2, because Tinkaton's at 3, and this is at 1. And now, I mean, maybe that's a good thing, because Iron Crown able to farm kills more effectively. Let's go Raging Bolt, because he doesn't really have an answer to this. Me when I lie, he's got like 3 answers to this. High Horsepower does 1 fuck ton, 1 metric fuck ton, but I also just kill with Dragon Pulse. So, say la vie. I mean, I'll take that trade. Tinkaton comes and I switch out, because obviously I'm Choice Specs, as the playoffs coming out. I don't know really why I want to keep Raging Bolt, because everything was faster than it. I don't know, maybe Sat Game. I really do like the Sat Game. But he catches me just clicking Close Combat, which honestly fair. But Iron Mouse still takes a lot. Unfortunately, it is what's it called? Booster speed. But we absolutely take those Aura Spheres, which is honestly a good play because I shouldn't have stayed in. But now the biggest threat on the field is dead. I'm able to go into Glamora on a Volt Switch that does honestly a good amount of damage. Now Mew is in, and I don't really have a lot. So Yasuke, if he wants to Terra or click a super effective button, that's fine. Ends up Dragon Dancing, but I believe I'm Choice Scarf. Yep. So I can knock off, do a bunch as the Drain Punch comes out, which is looking extremely scary, but Iron Crown is also Choice Scarf, meaning that it can just revenge, because Drain Punch doesn't do that much. Now, unfortunately, unless he's Adamant, which I don't think he is, because I don't think he outspeeds me if he's Adamant. Unfortunately, I don't actually outspeed this, because he's max speed, but at the end of the day, I end up getting a kill. Regieleki is a threat at this point. It reveals Supercell Slam, which is pretty huge. I go Glamora. Regieleki can easily clean up this game, but Glamora lives on 6. Clicks Earth Power, which ends up killing. That was absolutely huge. This should not have been as close as it was. I mean, now I'm able just to sack this Glamora and go out to Iron Crown, who just absolutely, how do I put this? Yeah, just stole a few, picked off a few Pokemon. Terran Steel to stun on them. Yeah, Iron Crown, I mean, this is a Pokemon of all time, what I tell you guys. This game was, like, way too close for my comfort, especially when I could have taken a free forfeit win, but, you know, I'm trying to pat stats, and I'm trying to get those YouTube views up. So, personally, I'm fine with this, because I ended up winning. If I lost, I would have, like, been so pissed at myself. But we're 3-0, still on track for a perfect season, despite a scary game. And next week is versus my best friend Wish. So I'm very excited for that one. Let's get on to it.
After what was a very scary game, to be honest, your Tropius are facing the Lothric Zorarks and my good buddy, my best friend on the internet, Wish No More. And he was a replacement coach. I believe he also replaced last week. So, you know, not sure what's in store, but it's going to be scary. He also has a Shed-Tail team with Orthworm, Tropius, and a bunch of other goobers. So it's going to be similar to week 1, and the game plan is just prevent Shed-Tail and set up. Like, my best way of doing that is bringing the especially defensive Roar Raging Bolt, something that I've not brought, I think, one time since I've had Raging Bolt. This is probably my best Tropius answer too, arguably, especially if it's Combined, or if it's not Combined. But I'm just gonna keep roaring it out and let something else take care of it. And I also need to bait using berries very effectively. You know, Primarina can bait Iron Moth and then kill it with a Surf. And then if I can bait him into thinking that Ursaluna's gonna die, and then I proc a Cuss Stab, and it just Shimon somebody, that would be real nice too. This Ursaluna is gonna trade very well. It's one of my favorite sets for a reason, right? And like, if he brings something weird like AV Orthworm, it's got Focus Blast, so it can hit it super effectively still. We're bringing double AV. As you can tell, it's one of my favorite sets, or favorite items, but Tropius is that scary. And yeah, the only thing we can really do versus Shed-Tail is pray, and just skill diff him. As much as I love Wish, I just gotta skill diff him, and hopefully stop the turtle from 6-0ing me. And now, for week 4, we're playing Wish. He's got an extremely scary Shed-Tail team, which, if you saw how much I was stressing about week 1, I'm stressing even more for this game. His team is incredibly threatening and annoying between, like, the walls and Orthworm and Screamtail, as well as his threats behind Shedtail, like Garchomp, Quack, and Iron Moth. I am a bit surprised to see no Terapagos, which would be really good with Screamtail, but I'm not exactly complaining. It's actually better for me. It's what Raging Bolt was built to counter, so that's good. I lead Annihilate in case he decided to lead Orthworm, which was pretty obvious to me. I just go 3 Marina off a Brave Bird, which does 38, which is a lot considering that I am max defense pretty much. Douchetail comes out. By his flip turn, I read that. I read between that or like Garchomp. So Iron Crown gets a free Tacking Cutter here, which does a good amount, albeit had a crit on the first. But it's doing about 38%. That's pretty bulky chomp. The Meowscarada is good here because it resists like Earthquake, and then it could also just threaten it with Triple Axle. As he endures, which no Rocky Helmet, but still endures good if I wasn't Protective Path, because Triple Axle racks up a lot of damage. By U-turn predicting a switch maybe, and Raging Bolt comes in, which was a little weird, but I wanted to Terra Water off Rip because he does not really beat water types. I mean, look at his team. He doesn't have a good water type beater. It helps me versus Quavel. It helps me versus Iron Moth, stuff like that. I Dragon Pulse predicting a Terra. I did not expect a Shedtail there, which is not good. So yeah, now he's got his Iron Moth in, but I'm able to just roar this out, and he kind of wastes his booster energy, which is good. Now Orthworm's back in and can't really do much because it can't Shedtail back out. I click Discharge for the chip as he just gets rocks up. That's fine. Wish knows me. He knows I don't like Spring Removal. By his Discharge and Kill at that point, I probably could have clicked Dragon Pulse, but there's no real reason. Ambipom comes out. Double Edge actually ends up killing. That's looking like it could be Choice Band. So I go back into Annihilate and obviously take the spikes and the rocks. And I click Rock Tomb on the switch because no matter what I go into, being able to be faster than something is very nice. Then Quavel comes on out as I just Drain Punch, get some HP back. And then Annihilate ends up eating a Brave Bird and just getting a little bit of chip back. I honestly was kind of expecting a different movement there, but I calced and saw Brave Bird could never kill me. And now I just did amazing damage to the Screamtail and allowed for like Iron Crown to end up winning. Or I get Meowscarada. But I go Iron Crown because I'm trying to farm Iron Crown kills. As Screamtail does just protect on Psychic. Maybe he predicted I was Spectre Scarf, but I'm not, so I just end up killing. Yeah. Ambipom comes out. I don't believe it not kills me, but he ends up going Triple Axle, which does a lot. That is definitely Choice Band. So, yeah. Crown ends up just killing that, and then Iron Moth comes out. Now, I wanted to save a little differential on Crown, so I go Ursa Blood Moon. Not only was this to, what's it called? Save differential, but I really wanted to show off tech with the Custat Berry Ursaluna. That's the main reason I did. I didn't want to be disrespectful or anything, but it was very, very nice to be able to show off this tech because it's just cool, right? I'm playing against a friend. I want to show him the heat that I brought, and I never lose from there. Even if he gets boosts or ends up critting my Ursaluna, just because of Meowscarada being faster. So I figured, why the fuck not? But yeah, we are now 4-0 halfway through the season. We are on pace for the perfect season. I'm really hoping we can achieve that still. But next week we're facing the number 2 seed and the other Titan in the division. And I really hope you watch how that goes. Now we're halfway through the season, and we are on track for an undefeated season with plus 32 differential, which is truly insane. Who knows if it's sustainable, but we're facing the second seed today. We're facing the Anaheim Aegis and Coach Sil. Yeah, really been putting on a clinic as well. You know, he's only got 3 wins, but plus 17 differential. And you may be asking how that's even possible. Well, the 3 wins were 6-0s, and the 1 loss was a -1 differential. So, yeah, I mean, that's just crazy. I really am hoping that I don't get 6-0'd and am able to break his streak. He's got a very scary team, involving like Goldengo, Hydreigon, Iron Bundle, Entei, a bunch of just threatening Pokemon. And how do I stop that? Well, I'm gonna try Fat Pivot with Iron Crown, Raging Bolt, and Primarina, of course. I forgot there's also a Great Tusk on this team, which is scary. I need to use Crown effectively because it's my Stonewall for Goldengo, Hydreigon, and Iron Bundle. And it doesn't punish Hydreigon, but it can at least wall an attacking cutter away. And again, this is the second week in a row I just got skill diff. I'm very proud of my prep this week. It's not like the best prep I've done ever, but I think if any prep is going to give me a shot, it's going to be these 6, these sets. And I just got this another week where I just gotta pray. Hope he doesn't show up 100% because he's a very good battler. Of course, so am I, but yeah, he was ranked second in the power rankings, I believe, which just goes to show how demonic his team was. This is going to be a match for the ages, so I recommend watching. This time we are facing Coach Sil and his 4-1 squad as the number 2 seed, and we are the number 1, only undefeated team left. This is certainly a battle of the Titans, and based off the teams, it looks that way. Sylv was number 2 in my my power rankings. The power rankings I did with a few other Zapdos coaches, and for a good reason. This team is absolutely horrifying. With that being said, I did the best of my ability to kind of try to counter it. I did a few mocks, got some good team building help, but let's see if any of that even matters. So I decided to lead Primarina, matched up pretty favorably into everything. Great Tusk comes on out. He just clicks Headlong, turn 1. Personally, you see me, I would call that a bad play. I thought it was a horrible play at the time. Because what if you just lose your Great Tusk? Ever think of that? But yeah, I just knock off Florch's leftovers, go into Iron Crown, pretty easy to read. Can't really do much to me. Baton Pass is his best option. Oh, Entei comes on out. I kind of got sacked Primarina. Sacred Fire does 30, sure. Tells me that's banded, at least. But this is looking very rough. As I just Hydro Pump instead of Flip Turn, I guess, I don't know. But yeah. Luckily, I am faster, and I can heal block this Amoonguss. And the idea was that it works on Regenerator. I believe it's intended to, but I don't think Game Freak implemented that. But I clicked Choice Band and Brave Bird because only one thing on his team really wants to take it. Floor just has no business taking this. Yeah, it does 67. As he just wishes back up. I doubled Meowscarada. I'll protect it. Don't know really why I went Meowscarada. I guess I was predicting a switch onto something, but yeah. I just go with the Banded U-turn. Or, sorry, not Banded. I don't know why I said Banded. I go Flower Trick here on a Wish. And just go Iron Crown. Now, if he wants to pass, that would be extremely bad for me, but just ends up with Protect. And now I get a relatively free Tacking Cutter. Entei does come out, but I don't take the Tacking Cutter. Why? I expected Gold to come on out. So I Volt Switch. Oh, Raging Bolt's looking very good here. I go Great Tusk, or he goes Great Tusk. I'd make the good double here. Well, I U-turn because I expecting him to stop trying to sack this goddamn Great Tusk. He goes spin, and it's looking bad for me. I like him sacking this Great Tusk like twice. Is it ended up being the best thing for him? I'm just trying to play mind games at this point. Not really much I could do. Like, he's got Rock Slide as his last move. I don't know how to get out of this. And I just Terra Dark, try and win the 50-50, and I do. So I don't get swept by his Great Tusk. But this is not great. This is not looking great for us. And Tank just comes back on in. And I end up almost sacking this this Iron Crown as I knew he'd try to predict, but I don't end up sacking it. I end up trying to get in my Annihilate to get more base power on Rage Fist, as I get free bulk up after it because of Citrus, and I miss Gunk Shot, and ultimately probably lose the game to that. I Rage Fist, it ends up killing. My calc was showing that wasn't. Ends up being Spadef Florges instead of Fizdef. Now Gold is able to come back in and revenge Shadow Ball me. I don't think I've ever seen a Gunk Shot hit, not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm just forced to knock here. Take some items off. Hydreigon, no more leftovers. Turns into a Steel type on my U-turn. Believe this is Sack Iron Crown. Yeah, gets outsped by everything pretty much. As he does reveal Flash Cannon. Raging Bolt comes on out. Clicks Taunt on Calm Mind as I Volt Switch. And, now it's kind of looking shiced, just a little bit. Knockoff doesn't do enough, though. But he goes Dark Pulse. I don't know what he's cooking. Maybe a U-turn. But now I got a pretty good position here. I go Raging Bolt, and he clicks Stomping Tantrum. But it's a roll. It's a roll to kill. Ends up going Goldengo on my Thunderclap. I didn't reveal Thunderclap the whole game. I thought I got him. Figured maybe I could do it, but Volt Switch was always the play there. And now if he's banded like I know he is, E-Speed always won, but instead he crits me a Scarf Goldengo, which in the end game actually did matter because I'd have a little 50-50, a little shot winning. He predicted Thunderclap. Overall, I just got shafted. Not only did I face a good player, right? I made a few mistakes, to say the absolute least. A few is probably being generous. I made mistakes, and I just got shafted by luck as well. It was not good for me. It was very rough. But I'm really hoping to bounce back next week. See, that was our first loss. We are still in first, I believe, maybe second, but we still got that promo pretty much unlocked. We're locked for playoffs, so not like that bad. But yeah, next week I feel bad for my Pokemon. It's noob season. That's all I'm gonna say. Unfortunately, last week we ended up taking our first loss this season, albeit while it was close and I could have won, maybe if I had better luck or played better. I'm not too upset because Sylve is probably the best battler we're going to play all season, and yeah, I just can't be too mad. I just got to come back with a vengeance, and I'm sorry for the Wallace Wolves and Coach Voidbull, because I prepped like hell for this match, so I wasn't going to lose 2 games in a row. At least, I hope not, but to be honest, Samazen's Gouging Fire are extremely scary. I had trouble prepping for both of them, but, oh yeah, and there's a Greninja, I believe it's Terra 2. The whole game plan is just to make Greninja and Zama's life difficult, and really, how I'm going to do that is, like, Pre-Marina and speed boosting Iron Crown, I guess. Raging Bolt can also assist, but it's gonna be rough because even with the right sets, both of those can still insta win. I do also have a Tree Scarf Glamora, which is gonna be good for baiting those two in. But the whole goal with Glamora is to just memento, so my Iron Crown or my Annihilate can just insta win. And I also just need to put up 24/7 constant pressure. Triple AV, but we're rocking like 5 offensive Pokemon this week, and even Primarina has some special attack investment. I gotta make this game short, because I don't think I ever win in a long-term game. Between Zamazenta being hard to break and Greninja being able to chip stuff down when it's weak. Also, Fortress with a great hazard game. I can't particularly stretch this game out and win. I gotta make it fast, gotta make him play to my speed, adapt to my team, and I'm really hoping that I can bounce back from last week. So yeah, let's hop into it. Week 6 is here, and I'm sure, as I touched on in the Spark Notes, there's a Zamazenta, there's a Greninja, there's a Grimmsnarl. This is just one hell of a team to be facing, especially coming after a demoralizing loss last week. This is going to be rough for me. Now, no Greninja is very good for me. No Gouging Fire is very good to me, even though it looks like Gouge has a bad matchup versus me. I was consistently struggling with it. So I'm glad to not see that. With that being said, let's just go into it. I mean, it sounds pretty good to me. I lead Glamora. Scarf Glamora looks good into everything except for Zamazenta. And what do you know? He leads Zamazenta, which is good, very good for me, because he wastes his what's it called? Dauntless Shield, I think. Psychic Fangs does 40, which isn't a lot. And Ice Bulk Up. I think at this point he realized he doesn't win this. So he just switches out into Grimmsnarl. I just click Drain Punch, which says 51%. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I substitute here, or no, I switch, baiting out a Thunder Wave. And it is a Thunder Wave. I could have went, what's it called? I could have went Ursula Blood Moon on that, but oh well. This Glamora is like, anyways. Because Scarf, I can't really spam a lot of moves with Glim on this team. But yeah, Clodsire takes way too little. Should end up dying to this next Earth Power, though. My play is always Blood Moon here, though, but I don't care. It didn't kill. I really wanted Clodsire dead, I guess, but he just misses a Hurricane. And so I take a little bit more damage. Kilowatts was like the worst mon in existence, by the way. I watched it miss 2 Hurricanes in a playoff game yesterday, and shit is ass. Cleavor comes on out. I just go Annihilate because I resist all of his stabs, as he just clicks Stone Axe, and now I can really just get like a free bulk up or sub or whatever I want to do. I believe this should be a sub. Yeah, it is a sub. Now, I don't know whether he is... I don't know whether he is unaware or not, but I don't care. I'm just clicking bulk up. Recover doesn't tell me a lot of information. I would imagine that it is water absorbed for Primarina. That makes a lot of sense to me. Zamazenta comes on out. I'm not sure what this is really going to do. Psychic Fangs doesn't even break the sub. I guess maybe he got a low roll, but Drain Punch comes on out. I should sub again here. Yeah, I do, and now I just Drain Punch again back to full. Yeah, it's gonna be really hard to lose at this point. I mean, I'm +2/+2 behind the substitute. Let's be real. Even if Claude is unaware, I got some good-ass power on my Rage Fist. That is also why I subbed. I subbed in case of a crit, which, if I didn't sub, it's just raw Drain Punch. That crit probably killed me. So that was good to know I made the right move. At this point, there's nothing I can really do about Grimmsnarl paralysis, so I just end up Drain Punching, because he can't really defeat me at this point. And I imagine that Clodsire is, in fact, water absorbed based on the way he's bringing it out last. Rage Fist just fucks over the rest of his team. I mean, Clodsire may live one. Yeah, it does 84, but can't do anything back. Earthquake doing 25 is actually a little surprising to me. I guess I underestimated Clodsire, because that wasn't a crit. You know what it is? Son of a bitch was unaware. It ignored my defense boosts. Alright, guys, my brain's working a little bit, just a little bit today. But yeah, that was a great bounce back game, and I'm proud of Annihilate for not letting the shit talk get to him. You know, came out last week playing like dog ass, and this week comes out and wins an entire game for us. Like, this type of performance is what I paid good points for Annihilate for. I knew it was going to be a threat, and I'm really glad I got to show off this set, because I'm not sure if I've run. I think last week and this week were the first time I ran Bulk Up. So I'm glad to see it finally pay off. It would have paid off last week, but we don't talk about that. Oh well. But yeah, this feels nice. It feels like we're getting momentum to carry into next week, which should be a fun one versus Terra Namorous and Terra Excadrill. I don't know how I'm going to do that, so let's see if we do. After the bounce back last week, we are taking on LS and the Flipping Flamingos. Now, a little lore, right? Now, I mentioned in Season 7 how I went 5-4 and ended up losing in the quarterfinals. Well, that season, LS gave me a loss in the regular season and a loss in playoffs. I'm looking for vengeance. Hopefully I get it. He's got a very scary sand team. And I don't really know. There's not much I can do about it. I'm just going to try Trope some ass. I did want to bring Tropius once this season. With me being playoff locked, I looked at my next couple matchups. I said, when can I Trope somebody? And if there was a week, it was this week. And unironically, it was one of the best Pokemon in the matchup, or at least between Tropius and the mons I didn't bring. Tropius was just the best one, and what he probably didn't prep for. But I just need a pivot until Bolt can get one to call mines off. Like, this is the actual win con. It's gonna be my only savior, because I can't really deal with Sands any other way. Sorry, I can deal with, like, maybe Excadrill, but I can't deal with his other Pokemon. Like, there's a Terra Namorous, which is just dumb. But, with that being said, I mean, Iron Crown can also win once mons are chipped. It's special attack boosting with agility. However, Psychic was supposed to be Psyshock for the, what's it called? For the Vaporeon, which honestly might not make that much of a difference, but it does mean something can't actually stop the set, which is a shame. But yeah, Iron Crown, Raging Bolt, as they have been all season, are my win cons, and we're running a very nice supporting cast. And we're setting up a prayer, because it might be my worst matchup all season, and it's with a very good battler behind it, despite the record being 3-3. So, let's see if I can outlast the sand. More importantly, let's see if I can Trope some ass. Week 7 is here. We are facing the GOAT, LS, and his very demonic and unfair sand team involving Terra Excadrill, Terra Namorous, Deoxys Speed, and Tyranitar, along with Cinderace, as you can see, Vaporeon. Additionally, this team has like Hisui and Decidueye as well. Quite frankly, I don't know how this team got put together. This is absolutely insane. Now, I'm hoping that the team I built can counter this. But even if I lose, if I can Trope somebody, and if I can make one of these mons super annoyed by Tropius, then that's a win in my books. There's no grass type to absorb the Leech Seed. But yeah, let's just go ahead into it. He leads Extra, which is interesting to me, as I just lead Meowscarada, reveals Mold Breaker, which is fantastic information. I believe he might be Scarf, so it's U-turn to see, test the waters, gets up Stealth Rocks, as I'm able to just, click the Leech Seed button. And now I can just stall out, see what the Cinderace wants to do. Ends up going for U-turn, which is good information. Not sure if it's banded. Bicycle, Annihilate in case he wants to U-turn again, as he does. Easy 100 base power Rage Fist now. Now I'm AV, I take anything that's not Specs Moonblast, but he reveals to be Specs Moonblast, which is incredibly unfortunate. I believe this is just an Agility here. Yep, it is an Agility, and this should be a Focus Blast. I just tacking cover for Chip, I guess? That was an interesting play. But it is rewarded because he clicked Steel Beam. Good play on his part. Now, Vaporeon comes on in. Yeah, this is where Psyshock would have been extremely helpful. I'd probably win this exchange with Psyshock. Or Terrablast Grass also would have been good, but I'm forced to go Meowscarada as he clicks Steel Beam there. That was super unfortunate. That's like the one move he could have clicked. So I just go into Raging Bolt. I start setting up Calm Minds with it. Ice Beam is doing too much. I'm just kind of forced to attack. I click Thunderclap now, and it fails, which is very unfortunate because Thunderclap is my only electric type move here. So now I pretty much just have to rely on a crit, or else I just lose at this point, which is very unfortunate, honestly. But yeah, it's not looking good. Calm Minds again, probably throwing up a Wish this next turn. So I just gotta keep attacking, praying for the crit. It's looking like it's not gonna happen. But no Wish was thrown off. So it's still possible. And I end up getting the crit, which is huge, massive. I'm pretty sure I still lose this game, but at least now it's a 5, or it's not a 5-0. As Tyranitar comes out, it takes 20 from a +2 Raging Bolt Dragon Pulse. This is like at least max HP AV, because like that is actually dumb. I just flip turn out into Tropius, praying that a rock move doesn't come out. Instead, it's actually Thunder Punch. But yeah, knocks off the Citrus. It's looking pretty rough, actually. I probably could have protected on the knockoff turn, so Tropius gets Citrus Berry back up. But yeah, this Leech Seed means that this Enamorus just goes stupid, and Iron Crown no longer resists it. So I'm pretty much forced to go Pre-Marina here and just pray. I just click Surf, doesn't do enough, and that is game. Man, Specs was a good bring on his part, because if it was Scarf, this wouldn't have been a problem. I would have just killed it with Annihilate. But I end up getting goobed. Not how I want to go about this game. I spent probably, I don't know, 3-4 hours of prep at least, based on mock. Like, I probably had 6 mocks, and then I did a bunch of calcs myself, just for the game to go this way. I never once saw Calm Mind Vaporeon, so that was very surprising to me. That's kind of why I've strayed off of doing mocks, or at least that many. I've not put that much prep into a game since, because this really tilted me, and definitely was a learning point. I'm looking to come back next week stronger than ever. But even with this loss, I believe I'm locked for top 3, and still for playoffs no matter what happens next week. So that's all that really matters. see if we can end the season on a high note. Unfortunately, last week we suffered a very unfortunate loss. Definitely the worst of the two, in my opinion. Uh, Mainly just because of how much prep I put in versus how the battle went. Um, but we are facing the Sandiford Whalelords and Coach Drazor, who did draft a meme team. It's all of the heaviest Pokemon, and so I'm hoping I have a very good matchup here. I think I do, and I am locked for playoffs, of course. And going into this battle, I thought I was locked for a top 2 seed, so I didn't really try, to be honest with you. I thought I was locked for a 2 seed, which was an automatic promotion and a first round bye. So things were looking good for me. So I just threw this team together. I put some fun mods on there like Choice Specs, Iron Crown, and Custap, Glamora, as well as Spikes, Meowscarada to hopefully throw him off because I've not run it all season. That first point's there for a reason. I gotta get them shits up. He's got no removers. And I also just need to no life tactic Spam Cutter. Because he's only got 2 special walls in there, Snorlax and Hoopa U, I believe. And even then, especially if I have hazards up, nothing is really living modest tacking Cutter twice. So we take those. And then I am bringing a little bit of Sep Spam this week. All that left side is set up. And I need Glamora to Hustat Berry Memento to hopefully get one of those guys in and just win me the game. But like I said, I didn't really try the prep too hard. Not really trying
and the finale of the SPS regular season. Going into this game, I believe I am top 2
I thought
locked.
This game didn't really have much on the line.
If my math does check out right, which means that I get an automatic promotion, meaning that I can just kind of fuck around. I don't really have to play too hard. So that was the theme of today's game. We're back in Cybold after last week, and I'm hoping it bounced back, because getting a 2-loss streak before playoffs would not be ideal. Team Blue lead is great, predicting a switch out, but he stays in. Heavy Slam does a lot. I pretty much turned off Calc's first battle, so I was not able to see if this was like Bandit or what, but I knew he had attack investment. Heavy Slam still does a lot. I just decided to close combat here, which probably was not a good play, because yeah, I just get revenge back by an Earthquake. So I'm already down 0-1, but oh well, this team leaves low, that's all I really care about. I'm able to kill it with U-turn. The biggest threat on his team is gone, I believe. Goes to Titan. Now I am Terra Water, and that's super important in this game. Nothing can really stop me. I click Thunderbolt to see if he wants to try to, like, Belly Drum. I want to be able to stop that, but it took not very much. In hindsight, makes a lot of sense, because it's AV. It didn't look that way at first, but then again, I wasn't calcing. So I skipped a free call mine because he couldn't really touch me. Metagross comes in, clicks Trailblaze, which this is interesting now, because my Iron Crown, or my Raging Bolt outsped it. He gets I get the low roll, so this Metagross is alive and can hit me for one more attack. Not ideal. Not ideal the way this went down, but he doesn't really have much that can kill me, so this isn't that bad. Copperajah comes in. I at least outspeed, so I do 42. Earthquake does not kill me, so I get a secondary attack off. Raging Bolt did its job. Copperajah and Metagross both got picked down low. Basically killed 2 mons. And so Iron Crown comes in, can click whatever it wants. Attacking Cutter it is. Now this does invite Mudsdale in for free, but oh well, right? So I just end up sacking Meowscarada. My calc is telling me that this Iron Crown Steel Beam should kill. So instead of making a smart play, I make a dumb one, because the Steel Beam does not kill. And I pretty much just won if I preserved Iron Crown and clicked Tachyon Cutter. Instead, now I gotta deal with this. Glamora comes in, ends up killing this Mudsdale. So now we got a super shiest game. Glastrier comes on out, turns into a Psychic type. I click Endure, because I don't know what he's gonna do. Ends up clicking Heavy Slam. Unfortunate that I did not need the Endure, because I could have gotten an attack off on this. But I click Memento. And Glastrier click Trailblaze. Interesting. Now I'm able to get a Calm Mind up. Able to get a Calm Mind up. But I just click Blood Moon instead. Now, I am Yachi Berry, so this is where it gets super shiced. I need a Calm-Minded Blood Moon to end up killing. Now, he clicks Avalanche, which luckily I didn't attack him. So Poison doing that much. This should kill, but it doesn't. Glastrier lives on 2, and I got some of the worst rolls I've ever seen in my life. That was a super unfortunate game. Now, I said hindsight's 2020 because this team was 6 Assault Vest Pokemon, which absolutely shafted just most of my Pokemon, because the only 2 physical attackers on my team are Annihilate and Meowscarada. One of them I let go too early, and the other one had like no physical attacks. So that was a very unfortunate game. Very unfortunate after the second half of the season. It was horrible, posting a 1-3 record. I talked about how I am top 2 lock. Probably one of the biggest choke jobs of all time. My math was flawed. So, and I dropped all the way to the aiming for the bye. I thought I was going to get the first round bye, but that's not happening. So let's see how we're going to do in playoffs. Despite the loss, we still made playoffs, which is a celebration in and of itself. Here's the bracket. All of the people we lost to are... 2 of the 3 people we lost to. And the 2 people I want to dodge in playoffs are on the other side of the bracket, meaning that if we face them, they're going to be in the championship game, which, if I do make it, is pretty likely we play one of them. However, we have no rematches on the left or on the right side of the bracket, which is what I love to see. I play LC, which is somebody who's been in SPS for a while, somebody I've had some good conversations with, and then if we win, we play Ultra Paul, again, one of my good buddies for a pretty long time, and who ended up taking the 2 seed from us. Overall, this is probably the best the playoff draw could have gotten, so very excited for that. In the quarterfinals matchup, we are facing LC and the Megalex Charizards, who are the 6th seed, end up with a 4-4, -3 record, and despite being top-heavy, LC has probably the scariest top-heavy draft I've seen in a long time, especially in Paldea. They have Dragapult, Palafin, Chi-Yu, Clefable, Corviknight, Ursaluna, and some very underrated good Pokemon like Breloom, Bellibolt, and Terra Espeon. Now, the one flaw I see with this team immediately is that its only captain is Espeon, and I think your Terra captains are a crucial part of a Gen 9 draft, so that is very good to see. I need to lock down Jesus and Palafin with Raging Bolt, Primarina, Terra, Iron Crown. These are some of the ways I'm trying to mitigate those threats. I'm less scared of Dragapult and like Clefable than I am of those guys. I need to revenge faster mods with Scarf, Meowscarada, and Annihilate. That would allow something like Iron Crown to win. It would allow something like Talonflame to put in a huge impact. The faster mods in question are just Dragapult, and then like Scarf Chi-Yu is really what I'm worried about. I also need to chip
core for the Iron Crown insta-win. Calm Mind, Iron Defense, he doesn't really have anything for it, and I have booster speed as well. Like, the only thing stopping this set is, like, Corviknight. Now, the Chi matchup, I won't be able to hit it, like, that hard, but with a couple combines up, I believe I win the 1v1. And, yeah, the whole rest of the team is just support, like, Talonflame, for example, taunt to stop Clefable, specifically the Cosmic Power version. That is the only set I see that I insta-lose to across his entire team. Ursaluna could be extremely annoying, but especially with Scarf Annihilate, but with Talonflame, Annihilate, even like Meowscarada, I believe I can put him in the blender enough to where it's not a problem. Historically, especially in Gen 9, I'm a little bit of a playoffs fraud. I don't do very well, but most of those games are rematches, so I'm hoping
Guess what, everybody? It's quarterfinals time in a game I probably shouldn't even be playing.
Across multiple leagues.
This week we're facing
I'm looking for a
LC
huge win.
and his incredibly talented team. I mean, you got Dragapult, arguably the best guy in National Dex, and has just been one of the best Pokemon in Draft of all time, spanning through Gens 8 and 9, followed by some really OP guys like Palafin and Chi-Yu, and epic support Pokemon like Corviknight. Admittedly, don't love the matchup. I think Primarina and Raging Bolt are going to be putting in overtime, but I mean, it's not a bad matchup by any means. I decided to lead Meowscarada as I have every game this season, and my play was the Thunder Punch off rip, because I'm Choice Band Protean, and so this should 2-hit KO Corviknight. But Corviknight is overpowered as fuck, so it only took 44 and gets leftovers back. Keep in mind, I'm fucking Choice Band. This has got to be max defense as a bitch. I just go Talonflame as he gets a good double off. Not really you know what I mean? Because it's a good double, but he also knew I was Choice Banded and went to the singular immunity. But I just U-turn out as he reveals to be Smackdown. I successfully read a normal move. It is Double Edge, which leads me to believe he is heavily offensive, because I feel like, you'd just go other normal move, though I could be wrong because there's no return in Paldex. I just go Terra Dragon because I kind of need it. Anyways, for this matchup, I just drop a Draco because I thought he was going hard. Harder Saluna. I didn't see the appeal of staying in and risking it, but he turns out. I go Primarina on as he just starts Calm Minding, which is very unfortunate for me. I didn't actually think about Psyshock, so this is where things get bad. Probably the most important Pokemon in this matchup just took 60%. I click U-turn because I know he's Terra Flying. This is his only Terra Captain on his team, and it does a lot. But I end up sacking this Primarina because Meowscarada is just able to come in and click U-turn now and kill this Espeon. But he swaps out into Corviknight. He's not Rocky Helmet, so this doesn't really do much for him. I'm just able to go Raging Bolt and probably just click Dragon Move here. Yeah, Dragon Pulse comes on out. Double Dragon Move this week, which is phenomenal because he can't really do much about it. Makes a good double. Predicting. I go Talonflame because, Talonflame is not really this good in the matchup now. I just Flamethrower, try to get a burn or something. I U-turn out, not really know what he wants to do. So I go Iron Crown, which is honestly a very weird switch in, but Iron Crown honestly didn't look that amazing this matchup either. But yeah, I just go Talonflame, bait this out. I'm not clicking Will-O-Wisp on it because of a potential Guts. That's extremely scary. Good read to click Earthquake there, but I Drain Punch. This Ursaluna is insanely bulky. Like, it's looking like a max defense variant. Because I am offensive, Annihilate, I keep doubling into, like, Raging Bolt, try and get it in for free. Now, this should be just, like, a Dragon Pulse. Yeah, the Side Shock threw a wrench in things, because this is AV, if I'm not mistaken, for a Chi-Yu. And I just kind of have to keep switching around it. This Espeon put in absolute work. And now Iron Crown's probably going to die for nothing, but he does reveal Life Orb, which is huge. I'm not going to reveal that my Annihilate is Scarf yet, especially with the Ursaluna alive. So I scope Meowscarada because it's much more believable that I'm Scarf, even though he knows I'm Banded. I honestly thought I could just scare him out with the idea of a Sucker Punch. But I just click U-turn with my Annihilate again. Again, just try and put him in the blender. As Talonflame is now in for free and can kill this with a Flamethrower, as it does. That Pokemon was way too annoying. But now it invites Chi-Yu or Palafin in, but the answer is Chi-Yu. Dark Pulse does a bunch, but it does reveal to me that he is Scarf, meaning that Raging Bolt can always take one. With no flinch. No flinch, please. I kill the Chi-Yu, which is probably a season-saving... that would have been a season-ending flinch, I believe. So I just sack this Talonflame, hopefully just praying to get a Flame Body off. Does not happen, so I go Meowscarada here. Now my plan should always be to click Flower Trick here because it kills the Palafin, and if Dragapult comes on out, then he is Life Orb, so, you know, I can just sack something. Basically, I just have to be up in the sack game, so Annihilate can come in and kill afterwards. I go Annihilate because it's the only thing faster than this. If this was Dragon Dance, or if he had Dragon Dance up, I'd probably lose, but Annihilate is able to take care of it due to Scarf. And that is quarterfinals. Probably one of the closest games this season, and it definitely made me scared. Like, I got extremely scared after this game. So I would have loved to take the bye, but obviously it's not. That was an option.
So if you didn't watch, we ended up winning.
We scraped by this with the skin of our teeth.
Quarterfinals game.
Let's see
a very
if
scary
we can do the
fashion.
same with semifinals.
One of the best games all season. I know I can say that for a lot of games, but when the stakes are that high, it's extremely entertaining. And I just clutched up and ended up winning. And so this week, for semifinals, we faced the Detroit Lion Mech and Coach Ultra Paul. Paul, of course, since he ended up grabbing top 2 seed, one of the best coaches in the division, looked pretty unstoppable at points, but I'm hoping I can stop him. We need to keep Webs off the field if possible. Now, I'm mainly going to be able to be doing that by Talonflame clicking Defog and being able to pressure a Bombi, because I could have ran Scarf Iron Crown with Tacking Cutter, but I don't think I need to run Scarf. If I can lead Iron Crown if I see a Robombi, then I'll scare him off. I also have Bullet Seed, Loaded Dice, Meowscarada for Focus Sash Samurai. I just click Sing with Prebreen as well. Whether I get the +2 speed or the sleep, both are going to be absolutely massive. And it's going to be able to pick off a few Pokemon and either allow for something to die or to end up cleaning the game by itself. And I also need to use Raging Bolt effectively this game. And it's Terra Fire, and I need it to be able to cook Ogerpon, Samurott, and Iron Treads. This Ogerpon Hearthflame is the MVP of the season. I want to say it had 20 plus kills in 8 games, 7 or 8 games, which sounds right. I know it's close. This thing's a demon. not really much can check it with Terra with the right moves. Like if he has Stomping Tantrum and Rock Move, I believe it gets Rock Tomb, plus 2 stabs, then I kind of just lose. But I'm really hoping he brings Play Rough instead of Stomping Tantrum, because I'm Terrifier, Raging Bolt. So it's going to be extremely scary if he brings the right moves. But there's always ways around it, I guess. I'm probably coping, but I just got... That's all you can really do versus Terra Ogrepawn. It's really an unfair Pokemon. All of the Ogrepawns are. On top of that, Paul has a Cure in Black, which also can cook my team. Especially if Iron Crown already Terran into a Dragon type. If it gets outsped. So that's why you have Heavy Duty Boots instead. Hazards are going to be very, very important to whether I win or lose this game. And this is my first time playing Paul. I've helped him out with mocks before. We did PRs. We used to play Among Us back in the day. And he's just a guy. He's one of my favorite dudes to be around. And I'm really hoping we can punish his hazard-centric game and be able to counter his threats. This is going to be a good game. I can already tell from when I built the team. When I looked at the matchup, I knew this was going to be heater. And I wouldn't be mad if I lost to Paul in semifinals.
After narrowly escaping my quarterfinals match versus LC, we're here versus what I expected.
Paul.
This semifinals got like 20 kills in regular season.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a problem.
First things first, I see a Rabombi. I already know what my lead's gonna be. And then he's got nice supporting cast with Deoxys, Iron Treads, and Rotom Wash. While I do expect them to be utility, if they're offensive, they could all put in work. But yeah, Rabombi means I'm leading Iron Crown 100% of the time. Or so I thought. Talonflame's also a good beat here. If I'm Shiest, I click U-turn here, but I'm not real. I click Flamethrower just to get the damage, break the sash. I end up burning, which is huge, actually, burning this Rotom because Rotom does not have recovery. I go a Raging Bolt in case he wants to like T-Wave or Hydro Pump. I just basically resist all of his attacks. Iron Treads is now in, and I use it to Shimon his life with this Terra Blast Fire. It kills, even if he Earthquake, I had Shuka Berry, but he decides to knock off. And now it's Deoxys defense, not really what I would have imagined coming in. Just click Psycho Boost, and it's not Eject Pack, so I go Meowscarada on it. Believe I just click U-turn in case he wants to switch out, but he takes it easily. I go into Annihilate because he's never clicking Psycho Boost here. I guess he wants to do. Clicks Ice Beam. I was expecting a superpower, so that's better for me. I'm able to just set up a substitute as he teleports out into Rotom Wash. So there's a few things I could do. I could bulk up here, or I could just attack. I opt to bulk up in case he wants to miss a Hydro Pump. That would be real cool. Now, I do reveal that it does reveal that I'm faster, so I'm able just to keep doing this in case he wants to like Volt Switch or Hydro Pump. It shows Thunder Wave, which is huge. I should be able to attack. Now, I just click Drain Punch, and it does a good amount of damage. But he just clicks Hydro Pump. I want to keep Annihilate HP up, so I just decided to kill it now. And if I don't get the boost, that's fine. But I wanted to try gambling one more time for a Hydro Miss. At this point, he has hit 3 Hydro Pumps, which is not fair because I will have missed like all 3 of them. But I just decided to keep Annihilate health secure in case I want to bring it back later. Now, Rabombi comes in, and I just go Talonflame because I have Defog, I have Flamethrower, but it gets a crit bug buzz, doesn't really do much. I believe I just U-turn here. Yeah. And now something gets to come in for free, and it's that Meowscarada. I just get to U-turn again because I kill. Yeah, this is the whole reason I drafted this team, is for momentum span. I just want to put people in a blender, have them guessing, and the team has been so successful at that. Annihilate comes back on. So I know I said no pauses, but I want to explain this in more detail. That brings. So I had a free turn then. I did not want to bring in something like that. But let Ogrepon in for free. I saw a vision that Pre-Marina could click Sing and win. And so I want to bring in Annihilate here. So I bait in Rabombi, which can't do that much to Pre-Marina. And then so in turn I can Sing it, or Sing his switch into it. And so I'm able to get a very good position from there. Because if I went something like Iron Crown, which looks good to Kira Black and into Rabombi, then he goes Ogrepon and ends up clicking Terra. Gets the +1 attack and makes my life a living hell. And I don't want to give him the opportunity to do that. Like I said, this is semis. I'm fucking locked in. Not letting this happen. But anyways, Ice Hard switching to Pre-Marina because he can't really do much. As he sets up a Sticky Web, which is a little weird to me. Sets up again, so I'm not sure if he is choiced. I miss the Seeing, activate my Blunder Policy, and now I outspeed everything. Oh, it's Ogrepon time now. But yeah, it dies to 2 Surfs, which is unfortunate because if he sacked Rabombi and then clicked Surf, or sorry, then clicked Grass Move with the Ogrepon, maybe then he had a chance. But yeah, Moonblast is doing a lot. He does reveal Choice Scarf, but he gets the 48-52 roll. Mind you, I had a 48-52 chance earlier this season and did not get it. But I'm able to just do whatever. I put up a substitute here for like no reason. Yeah, that was weird. I didn't expect Moonblast to kill, I guess. But now, I mean, it doesn't matter because this Kyurem can't Dragon Dance. Tachyon should kill anyways. 52, look at that. I got a 52-47 roll. Can we talk about that? What the hell is this? Iron Crown robbed of another kill, and it gets a death. But I just go Talonflame because I know I outspeed and I can kill. Basically just because I float above the sticky webs. But, you know, that was just an extremely clean game on my part. Like, Paul put up a good fight, but I was extremely dialed for the prepping and the battling, for that matter, and despite having probably the scariest team I faced all season, I was able to counteract it with some heat.
In the finals, we are facing the Alarcon team and Coach Christian IAC
where
again.
I'm facing
the 5
a familiar
seed
opponent.
ended up defeating both my ops and coming to finals, which was very unexpected. Of course, if you don't remember, this is my week 1 opponent that I 6-0'd. So there's a lot of plot armor for both of us on the line. Like, a lot. And not only did he beat both my ops, this was probably one of my more favorable matchups all season. I would say, despite it being Shedtail, which is always scary and can always snowball, I liked it. Now, we're bringing a little bit of a different set for off the Pokemon this week. I kept Raging Bolt the exact same, if I'm not mistaken, and I kept Meowscarada the same, but with Brick Break for screens. Everything else is different. We have Choice Specs Iron Crown because if he is a defensive set, then, like physically defensive, then Terra Steel, Choice Specs, Tacky Cutter, 2-hit KO Skeledirge, and destroys everything on his team. And that's not a joke. We gotta keep the hazard game strong with Glamora. This is the #1 point. This is the #1 strategy. This is what we have to do to win. Is get spikes up with Glamora and keep the hazard off the field. Because Klefki is very oppressive and he's hazard stacked a lot of people with it. We also need to punish Shentail and set up. Now, it's a little sketchy because there is no Talonflame, which is how I was planning on doing it last time, but there's not really a lot of ways we can punish Shentail, I guess, but we've got Red Card Glamora to help try, and we have attacking cover that hits like a motherfucking semi, so even if the sub takes one of them, it's going to do a lot of damage the second time. We also have like Vacuum Wave and Hyper Voice goes through sub. That is something I wanted to point out. Hyper Voice goes through sub with Ursaluna, and Vacuum Wave can pick something off. But yeah, overall, this matchup is still scary despite me saying it's one of the best. We got double choice specs. Pokemon I've not really ran specs on that much. Did you know that Primarina can 2-hit KO max Glow King with shit? It might be Surf, but I think it's Hydro Pump. Like, there really is no switch into this Pokemon. And then maybe Meowscarada can clean up. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Christian brings. As you can see at the last point, break with Crown and Prima, so Prio wins, whether it be Thunderclap, Raging Bolt, or Vacuum Wave. Diggersby, we just gotta use those two to break and then clean up. And with that being said, please grab your popcorn, grab your drink, let us watch the SPS Season 8 Zapdos Division Finals. Me versus Christian. Let the best man win.
And now it is time for finals. I can't believe those words are coming out of my mouth. This is the first finals I've ever played in. The first one I've even made it to, so I'm shaking like a mofo. This is an insane position to be at. I had to be so dialed building and playing, it's not even funny. I gotta be even more so than last week, which is the best I've played all season. I gotta come up, level up, Super Saiyan Hotman 3. You know how it goes. Pretty similar team to last time. Gliscor ends up coming, I imagine, for the Ursaluna Blood Moon and the Iron Crown. No Azu again this time, but outside of that, same 5 Pokemon. No Glow King, which is huge for Primarina, even though Primarina still beat it. It's also very good for, like, Iron Crown and Glamora. It was a justified change, I think, because Glow King didn't really do much this matchup. But here's how finals went. Now, I didn't really have a good lead here. I led Meowscarada because it's one of my favorite leads. He clicks Protect, good Protect here. I could have clicked Knockoff, I could have clicked Triple Axle, both were super good. Yeah, just ends up proccing his Toxic Orb. Now, he wants to switch out into something, probably Garg, Klefki, or Skeledirge, so I make that opportunity to just get a good double into my Primarina. Ends up clicking Light Screen, which is bad because now, he takes 2 hits, but heaven forbid I get a 52-48 roll. Like, that will never happen in my life. But Klefki is gone, which means no more screens, no more spikes. I go into Glamora because this is a Terra captain of his, as he just Terra Flyings. Sets up an Iron defense. My goal is to just Mortal Spin here. I was looking at mid-click if that would still work because it didn't poison Garganacl, which it does, and my red card does show out. That was extremely important that he attacked me. I go Blood Moon, not really knowing what to expect, as he Shift Gears. No Shed Tail, this is Shift Gear. That's really cool to see. Power Whip does 71% at +1 attack. I'm surprised it even did like that much. That Citrus Berry was really bad actually because now a Vacuum Wave won't kill, but the Poison might. Also, there's a chance he missed Power Whip, but of course he doesn't, because my luck wouldn't be like that. But Poison ends up taking him out, which is huge. Now, he doesn't really have an answer to Primarina, so I should switch in Primarina, as I do. And I just click Water Move, and watch something die. Yeah, Surf, dead, Gliscor. This is huge. He has got no answer to this. Garganackle comes on out. I just surf to gauge the damage. It's a 48, and I don't feel comfortable taking the roll because he's leftovers. I'd probably lose this exchange if he's Recover or Salt Cure. So I go Raging Bolt just so I can Volt Switch out on this. I doubt he stays in, but he does. I click Discharge because there's no reason to overpredict, and it only does 48. Now this is bad for me, but I could just Volt Switch out of this, and I don't. He can't get paired, so I'm a little confused at why I'm just staying in like this. But at the end of the day, I should Volt Switch eventually, and I do. Now I can go into Pre-Marina and click Hydro Pump instead of Surf, which should KO, or at least in KO in 2. Granted, I have to hit both of them. But yeah, he switches out into Skeledirge, which is probably good as I land a Hydro Pump. Basically, he's just got to get this Pre-Marina low and hope that Garg plus Urshifu can take it out, but even then, I have an Iron Crown in the back, as Hydro Pump can now not get out-recovered. I click Salt Cure, unless he's Protect, which I don't believe he is. He's just got to dodge, but Pre-Marina is the GOAT, and just clicks Hydro Pump and kills. Definitely put in the work, and now it's a 1v4. Meowscarada comes on out. I got Low Kick, he can't kill me in 1, I don't believe. Or sorry, Brick Break, I carry Brick Break instead. Can't kill me in 1, I don't think. But he reveals to be Drain Punch, not Close Combat, which was his only chance, is like Close Combat Scarf, I believe. But yeah, we end up winning, and winning our first finals ever. And it's just insane to me how the season went. It's been a roller coaster. I'm super emotional with this. I've been playing draft for 5 years, man, and I never even been to a finals before. So to make this and to win it with one of the most fun teams I've used and some of my favorite Pokemon, it's just super heartwarming to me. And I'm just glad I got this opportunity, man. But there's more to this video after, so stick around and watch that. And I just want to thank you guys for all of the support, because I did do this league individual videos, and so if you're watching this, thank you. Thank you. And in case you missed out on the playoffs or wanted to see how the playoffs went for everybody, here is a recap. Christian ended up beating LS in a 6-0 with Azumarill, and then ended up defeating the Sylph in a pretty nasty, just very good 4-0 win. As we defeated LC 2-0, I believe, and then Paul got some
4-0,
awards for you.
and
For
then ended up
MVP,
beating
we're
Christian
bringing
in
Iron
5-0
Crown. I wanted
victory
this to be the MVP
for my
all
first
season
ever
long.
title.
Unfortunately, it finished in 3rd, but it is the team MVP with 7 games played, 13 kills, and 3 deaths, plus 10 differential. Now, these are all in regular season numbers, so that's why Iron Crown's kills aren't inflated. I love this Pokemon, man. It's one I will always keep coming back to if given the chance. It's just love at first sight. Love how versatile it is offensively. Honestly, a pretty great speed tier considering that it can booster, it's a good Scarfer, and with good bulk, you can make it bulky as well. For the playoffs MVP, there's no question, it's Pre-Marina. 3 games played with 5 kills and 3 deaths. Now, that doesn't look all that impressive, but it was a real impact pick. The impact that Pre-Marina put on the battles is unfathomable. It could have had 2 more kills in the semis game, and then all of a sudden we're looking at 7 kills and 3 deaths, which is much more impressive. The semis game really unlocked something with me. Pre-Marina, I always thought of a defensive Pokemon. I thought very good type, very good stats. Flip turns, got utility moves. Like, this should always be a defensive Pokemon. And the caveat being that when Pre-Berry attacks, it's not passive because the attacks do a lot. But Pre-Berry is just a button clicker. Like, it's deceptive. You could, like, choice spec sets, it's fast enough to run Scarf occasionally. Like, its best option is as a bulky attacker, in my opinion, now. And, you know what, Semi's game just flipped the script of how I think of Pre-Berry. And then most reliable was Meowscarada. Listen, if you look at the stats, you would have thought that this thing was a fraud. And while I don't love Meowscarada, especially as a first pick, even in the even on like the back wheel, I do respect what it did for me, because it was an elite cleaner and revenger due to its speed, its great scarf ability, and the coverage it gets is also able to just pivot out into stuff like Iron Crown, like Raging Bolt, who had the most impact on my team and boasted huge threats. So Meowscarada might have extremely reliable, and I brought it to all but one game. So as far as the first pick went, it could have been worse. What I've learned this season, of course, it's a little easier saying that when you have high tier Terras like Raging Bolt. I like the idea of being able to bring every one of my Pokemon in every match. But I know good Terra captains are near essential to winning a league now. To me, seeing a scary Terra captain puts on more pressure on me than seeing a team of like a few great Pokemon put together. Like, Elsie's team was terrifying, but Ultra Pulse team was fucking horrifying because of that Terra Ogerpon. So it's like two heads of different coins. In one group you have, let me see how much good Pokemon I could draft because everyone else is going to be taking Terra captains. But on the other hand, I could get the best Terra captain in the league, and, you know, that's another Pokemon that they have to prep for. Now, at this point in late August, this is probably going to be a point that, you know, it's a little outdated. I think Iron Crown's the most slept on Pokemon in general, in ladder and in draft. Now, obviously in ladder, it's been taking a good rise, which it should have been. Like, it was insanely slept on throughout, but I wanted to prove it to the world that this was like a good Pokemon. And January through, I would draft everyone on this February through May, and I already was talking about Iron Crown most of these Pokemon. But this is just a super fun team. I think that's what kept me engaged this whole season. I think that's what helped me have fun and want to win more, because all of these Pokemon were just fun. And it turns out I value versatility over like everything. So mods like Iron Crown that can run multiple items and sets, same with Annihilate, Raging Bolt. You know, you got Meowscarada, Talonflame, Blim. All of these Pokemon can run different items, different sets, different EVs, and all be effective every single week. I found out that that's something I value a lot. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching this. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, as after a huge 4-month break, I'm going to be returning to YouTube. After this mini movie, plan on another weekly YouTube series. And yeah, this was a different video. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Not sure if I'll do this again, but it was an interesting process. I wouldn't be here without you guys, and yeah. With that being said, JSauce, the new SPS Season 8 Zapdos Division Champion, is signing out.